assume that I've already got it, right? That's the way you
Yes,
think about it,
yes,
right?
yes. You visualize by
Mm.
saying, I'm so glad that I'm now doing this event for this person. And then
Mm.
how do you saturate it? You saturate it is by imagining the entire event. So, what will the guests be? What are the activities you'll have? What will the decor look like? Where will you be placing the food? What are the guests saying after the event? You can even visualize
Mm-hmm.
that they're coming and telling
Mm-hmm.
you what a fantastic job you did. That is called saturating the desire. Okay, and the
Okay.
more you saturate it, the higher your chances of it happening sooner in your life. You know,
Got it. Got it.
got
Got
it?
it. Yeah.
Right, lovely.
Thank you
Okay,
so much.
thank you. So I'm just going to quickly do a couple of sharings, and then we will go on with this. Yeah, Shelja, you can read today. I've seen that. Yeah, Suraya ji, please share. Yeah.
Yeah. Good morning, Ruchi. Good
Good
morning,
morning.
everyone.
Good morning. Yeah.
Uh, yes, like I told you yesterday, I think I had messaged you the same thing. It was
Yes. Yes.
confusion for me.
Yes. Yes.
And by the end of it, I got a call from my friend and she was talking and we got talking. She was saying how she sanitizes and disinfects her house every
Mm.
month with not just the corporation guy, but especially people who come and do the whole thing. And
Sanitize.
that's when I realized that I haven't done it, but thanks to my immune system that is so strong that I'm absolutely feeling absolutely great about myself.
Awesome.
That
Awesome.
was one cue, and another one was I think I've been sharing with my sister, and I told you that she's been very interested in things,
Hmm.
and she knows that now I've started sleeping a little earlier than before.
Hmm. Hmm.
But promptly she calls me up and I was just getting ready, saying, "Okay, I'm good." And yesterday, for some reason, I it got a little late,
Hmm.
and I went inside my bedroom saying, "Okay, 10:30, I'm going to read my namaz, and I think 10:45, I'm going to go to bed."
Hmm.
And she called up to say, "You know what? I'm writing down this. Can you help me?
Hmm.
Is it okay?" I said, "Yeah, it's okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, I can say." But it was a cue for me to say that I had a relationship who felt so comfortable that she could call me up at that time
Lovely.
and ask me questions. So I was
Lovely.
thankful for that and grateful for that. I
Yeah.
think it was just,
It just
sometimes you
fell in.
don't, yeah, yeah. I just wanted to share that. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Lovely.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That's lovely. Yes, Ritu, please go ahead.
Hi, good
Hi.
morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
I
Yes.
had a wonderful day. It was such a beautiful day.
Ritu, can you be a little louder?
Yeah, yesterday I had a beautiful day. It was a wonderful day, and in the morning I'd written my first thing was it's going to be a beautiful day
Hmm.
today.
Hmm.
And my mother was asking me to come over from a very long time. I haven't seen her for a long time.
Hmm.
So yesterday I decided to go to my mom's house for some time.
Hmm.
And my bhabhi never really calls me.
Hmm.
And she called me, and it was so nice. She asked me, "So, what time are you coming? And what will you have for lunch?
Hmm.
And should I get this made?" It was so nice. And then after some time, and my son was supposed to drop me. I didn't want to use an Uber at this time.
Hmm.
So my son is working from home.
Hmm.
So I had told him whenever you get some free time,
Hmm.
just drop me. It's very near my mom's
Hmm.
house.
Hmm.
So he told me, "Yes, mom, I'll do that, but as soon as I can."
Hmm.
So everything was so perfect. Then in between, I just tell I spoke to my mom and I told her I'll come by 1:30 because Akshat will only get time at that time.
Hmm.
So I will come at that time and have lunch there only.
Hmm.
And we were just talking, and my mother said that DJ, they are in a joint family. One of my brothers gone well. He's got
Hmm.
fever. So
Hmm.
she just said, "Ki, is it okay when if you come at that time?" I said, "हाँ मेरा भी थोड़ा गला दुख रहा है तो हमको थोड़ा लग रहा था should I avoid क्या?" So I said, "अच्छा ठीक है रहने दो आज का रहने दो."
Hmm.
Imagine my bhabhi called me back again and she said, "No, just come. Nothing will happen. We'll all wear a mask. It's been so long." I felt so nice. I can't tell
Lovely.
you.
Lovely.
Then second thing happened was I received my a book which I had ordered, The
Hmm.
Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. I really wanted to read that book, so
Hmm.
that came. And then when I was going with
Hmm.
my son on the way, I was seeing all those trees and all. So the cues were like the trees are giving out oxygen and all those flowers. And I've never seen those trees on the
With
road.
those eyes.
The flowers and such beautiful flowers. It
Yeah.
was really lovely.
Love.
And the best part was in the evening when I was sitting with my mother, I
Hmm.
was just telling her I had that in my mind
Hmm.
that my mother doesn't keep very well.
Hmm.
So I decided I'll tell mommy about the gratitude thing and I'll tell her you must write 10 things
Hmm.
about gratitude every day and about the magic rock. So
Hmm.
when I was telling her, she was so excited like a child and she was loving it and she was asking me, she doesn't know English very well.
Hmm.
So she was saying, I was telling her, मम्मी आप 3 बार thank you लिखना. So
Hmm.
she, or you can write in Hindi जो भी बोलते
Hmm.
हैं.
Hmm.
So she was like, thank you, THANK. But she was asking me the spelling and she was so
So
excited about it.
nice. So
And
nice.
I was like, I go on asking you every single day if you've done your homework or not. Like
Yeah.
a teacher, I'm going to ask you.
Hmm.
And she was like, हाँ तुम रोज मेरे को पूछना. And the best part was at night when I was holding my magic rock, I just didn't want to leave my magic rock. I was so thankful for, and I was so happy with the way my mother, the whole thing, it was so beautiful. I can't tell you.
Yeah.
And in 2 days, I've missed your classes online.
Yeah.
So I was missing it so much the whole night. I haven't slept. I've been awake. I've been waking up every hour to be awake and attend the class. So you are just too good, Ruchi. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much for that sharing, Ritu. Thank you so much.
And your video was excellent on Facebook.
Good morning, Ruchi, and all my
Good morning.
friends.
Good morning. Good morning. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. And I think, now it's time for me to share what I wanted to share. And, one of the things that I had visualized in my dreams and desires was that I have 1,000 people when I'm talking about my gratitude story. And yesterday, when I hung up after the call was over, a friend of mine called up and she said, "Fantastic. You had more than 1,000 people viewing you." I said, "What are you saying?" So she said, "Yes, there were more than 1,000 people." And I said, "I am so, so, so glad for the simple reason that I didn't say how people are going to hear me, whether it's going to be a live, whether it's going to be a session. I just left all of that. I said, I want 1,000 people to hear about gratitude, and it completely happened. And then later she told me, "No, you know what, it's actually 1.2k or something." And then Meera even put it down on the group saying that it was 1.2k views that happened. So I said, there goes my desire, and I will now strike it off from my list. That was one thing. And the second thing she told me, very importantly, she said, so many of your people and your people, okay, she means your people as in everybody who's doing these magical mornings. So she said, so many of your people logged in and they were answering questions to which other people were asking. So it felt like you were not speaking alone. You had a band of warriors, who were talking for you in the chat box. And I felt so good. I felt so good. Yeah, Rachna, it's exactly that moment that it's not just me alone. And she pointed out one thing in particular, which was so funny. She said, when you told your check story and you told about how, the exact amount from the magic check got credited and everything else, somebody wrote, some unknown participant must have written, "Aisa kya sachmuch hota hai?" Okay. And I think Anita, or I don't know who replied back.
I wrote it.
Babita, you
Yes,
wrote
होता है और हुआ है. I wrote, yes, होता है और हुआ
हुआ
है.
है और होता रहेगा.
हाँ.
And I don't know, she just read it as Anita. So she told me, and I was laughing. I said, "Oh my God." She said, ऐसा लग रहा था कि अगर वो सामने होती ना, जिसने भी ये क्वेश्चन पूछा था, तो शायद उसको डंडे पड़ जाते. So thank you so much to everyone, who was there yesterday. It means the world. It means the world because, we are talking about something which is unbelievable. And that's how magic is supposed to be. It is unbelievable. And then when you are not the only spokesperson and you have a warrior team with you, I can't call it anything but a warrior team, because you are there to support, you are there to encourage, you are there to answer questions, you are there to say things that have happened from your side. I think also when I mentioned about the 5 a.m. and or doing it in the morning hours. I think people just wrote over there at that time that we get up even without an alarm clock, and that is so helpful that it really makes a big difference. So thank you so much from my side to each and every one of you, whether you're watching it here or whether you're watching it on YouTube, wherever you are. So thank you so much, thank you very much. Yes, thank you, Neeta, thank you so much. Yes, really, I felt that. I just felt that yesterday, that there are so many people who are well wishers and who are, and she told me, Naika, later on when we logged off, she told me that you have some following because the way they were all, encouraging and writing, because I couldn't see it. I was just on the Zoom call, so I couldn't see it from my side. But everybody and all the support that each of you all showed, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And like I said,
Actually, Ruchi,
my
what had
desire,
happened?
yes, yes,
The
Babita.
way she asked, ये सब होता है? I was like, मैं वहीं खड़ी हूँ. हाँ, हुआ है. I remembered magic has no logic.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Thank you so much. And that's why she, pointedly told me कि जब वो question किसी ने पूछा and immediately reply आया in the chat box, ऐसा होता है, ऐसा हुआ है, ऐसा होता रहेगा. So that was really nice. Thank you, Babita. Thank you so much for that. Thank you very much. All
Can
right.
I
So on that note,
say
let's get
something,
started.
Ruchi?
Sorry. Yes. Yeah. Devika, you want to say something?
Yeah.
Yeah. Quick.
One thing
Yeah.
I have realized very quickly.
Yes.
One thing I have realized, like whatever cues even we are getting, or whatever desires like yours or anybody else's or mine, if they're getting fulfilled, first and foremost, what I have realized with myself, with my experience, that you have to be very, very, very grateful. Then the things are coming up instantly and on its own.
Yeah.
We don't even know how. One small thing, can I share, please?
Yes,
Like,
please.
There
Yes.
was
Yeah.
an amount of good amount which was stuck since a number of years, which we were supposed to get from someone. And earlier I was, I used to complain. I used to say not very good things about it. But I realized after following your sessions, and earlier also I've done a number of sessions with different forums. So I realized, no, you have to be thankful for what that person has done for you.
Yes.
And I started thanking, and in very short time, we got the result. Very short time.
Fabulous,
So,
like I think the other day Madhu से जब ये बात हुई थी about debtors and how he said कि उसका घड़ा भर दो please so that वो वहां से यहाँ भेज दे. So it's like saying that bless the person, let him get more and more, so that you have a little selfish thing in yourself, that's okay, but only when his tank gets full will the water come to your house also, na? So you have to somewhere even say कि भाई उसका भर दो. Lovely.
Thank you.
Thank you, Devika, thank you so much. Yeah, thank you, oh so sweet. Thank you, Gauri, thank you so much for that. And thank you everyone who's writing in the chat box. I'm not reading out your names, but I'm seeing every message. Thank you so much. Yeah. Right. So I'm going to share my screen. Gauri, Shelja, you're reading today, right? Just a second. I'm just going to share my screen. Yeah. Shelja, can you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Great.
Magic mirror?
No. Sorry. This is what I did with the kids yesterday. And I must tell you, we had a most fabulous time.
And when I came home, my son says, Ma, we did something called the magic mirror, but I'm not going to tell you about it because Ruchi auntie has told us that you still haven't done the chapter.
Yes, I agree with that. Same thing my Anna also told me.
I told if your mom's hovering around, tell her to leave the room. I told her that.
Oh, let me tell you the little secret. It was the dad who was invited earlier from office. That you have to come and attend this.
So sweet, lovely. Okay, day 26, magically transform mistakes into blessings. Yes.
Turn your wounds into wisdom. Oprah Winfrey. media personality, and businesswoman. Every single mistake is a blessing in disguise. Today's magical practice will prove it because you're about to discover that there are actually untold blessings hidden within every mistake. A child makes many mistakes while learning how to ride a bike or write, and we don't give it a second thought because we know that through their mistakes they will learn and eventually master what they are trying to do. So, why is it that adults are so hard on themselves when they make a mistake? The same rule that applies to children also applies to you. We all make mistakes, and if we didn't make them, we would never learn anything, and we wouldn't grow any smarter or any wiser.
Okay, Shailja, just 1 second. Let me just explain this. It's a beautiful sentence, and I really like sentences where you have, I forget what this is called right now, but like a W and a W used. So somebody in the chat box can send me what it is. It is a kind of writing skill, but it's just not coming to me right now. Turn your wounds into wisdom. It's easy to remember when you have the same alphabet which is being used as two different ways, right? Or it is combined together as a figure of speech, and it beautifully explains it. So how do I now completely change a wound or something that has hurt me into something that I draw an important lesson from? So that is why a wound is something that we have hurt ourselves with. Wisdom is something that I get some knowledge out of that wound. So this chapter is a very, very important chapter, I feel, because as adults, sometimes, and not sometimes, I would say most times, we are very harsh on ourselves and we do not treat our own selves with kindness. We make a mistake, and for years and months together, we are only mulling over how could I do it? How could I be so foolish? Why did I say it like this? Why did I not do it like that? And we go around beating ourselves black and blue because we have not handled a particular situation in a particular way. And that guilt of that particular thing lingers with us for a very long time. Remember when we had done the exercise on forgiveness and we wanted to forgive someone else, but forgiving your own self can sometimes be a very challenging situation. And this chapter is all about knowing that every time we have made a mistake, if we turn it around and if we look at it as a blessing in disguise, the whole relationship or the whole lesson that that particular experience has come to teach us, it totally changes. Okay, so this is all about that. A child makes many mistakes while learning how to ride a bike or write, and we don't give it a second thought because we know that through their mistakes they will learn and eventually master what they're trying to do. In fact, go back even to an even more basic thing like walking, and your child learns how to walk, and we don't say after the second or the third time, छोड़ दो, तुमसे कभी होएगा नहीं, तुम जिंदगी में कभी चल नहीं पाओगे. We never do that. We are so encouraging. We wait patiently. We let them know it, let them do it from their own mistakes, and we even the little steps that they take, we're so excited about that. Similarly, when they learn how to ride a bike or how to swim or any one of these skills, we're very patient with that, and it will take certain amount of how should I say, certain amount of damage in terms of falling and getting up till you get it right. And I again don't remember who said this, but someone said that the courage is not in the number of times you fell. I think it was Nelson Mandela, but it is in the number of times you shook yourself and stood up and walked again. And that is so nice. You know, it's not about the number of times I have fallen, but the number of times I have said no problem and I'm going to try it one more time. And that's exactly what this is. The same rule that applies to children also applies to you. We all make mistakes, and if we didn't make them, we'll never learn anything. So, making mistakes is one of the best and most important things. And you know, it's so amazing. We were talking about mind maps today, and Tony Buzan used to say, when you make a mistake, you say, wow, what a marvelous mistake I have made. now I'm going to learn something new. And it used to be so interesting the way he would say it, because he would say making those mistakes in your mind maps are very, very important, because unless you make your mistakes first, you will not learn them better later. So he used to call these mistakes marvelous mistakes. And he would say, wow, you've made a marvelous mistake. Now you're going to learn it how to do it right. And it's just so coincidental. Okay, but we don't have coincidences. So I guess that's why we spoke about mind maps in the morning today. And this is what he would say, it's a marvelous mistake. Yes. Yeah. Please continue. We have the freedom. Yeah.
We have the freedom to make our own choices, and that means we have the freedom to make mistakes. Mistakes can hurt, but if we don't learn from the mistake we have made, the pain we have suffered from it has been for nothing. In fact, by the law of attraction, we will make the same mistake over and over again until the consequences hurt us so much that we finally learn from it. It is the very reason why mistakes hurt, so that we do learn from them and don't make them repeatedly.
Absolutely. We have the freedom to make our own choices, and that means we have the freedom to make mistakes. Mistakes can hurt, but if we don't learn from the mistake we've made, the pain we've suffered from it has been for nothing. In fact, by the law of attraction, we will make the same mistake over and over again until the consequences hurt so much that we finally learn from it. And that is what I think yesterday also one of the questions was something on these lines, where it said about, I don't remember how the question was framed, but my answer was more or less here, which said that some experiences come to us in our life so that we learn something from it. Okay. And if we don't learn it the first time, then we end up doing it a second time, a third time, a fourth time. And then it is actually just our foolishness, because sometimes we learn from a mistake in a very small way. And maybe even if you look at something in the kitchen and you say that you burn your hand very mildly while maybe say you're putting some oil in the kadhai, and if you have not learned that an optimum distance has to be kept between you and your hand and the oil, especially when it's hot oil, then in that case, when you will probably when you are probably going to fry a puri and then you put that in, the amount of oil that will come will increase. So if you don't learn it from small things, then the magnitude of that mistake, I mean, the magnitude of the experience will increase, so that you learn it even more. समझ लो कि आपने वो पूरी डालते समय भी और फिर उसके तेल के उछलने से भी you have not learned something, then there will be something more. Maybe there will be something larger which will cause a bigger splash. But what is the lesson you need to learn? You need to learn that you have to be careful when you're working with oil in the kitchen and it is on the gas. So, it can cause a burning over a period of time. So it's about how quickly you learn from your mistake that you will not repeat it. And if you have not learned from that mistake, those consequences will, or sorry, those experiences will keep coming back again and again and again till you have not learned it. So it's better to learn it from that small, like, वो छोटे राई के छौक से ही सीख लो, पूड़ी के छौक से और पूड़ी से ऊपर पता नहीं और क्या डाल सकते हो, बट उनके छौक से मत सीखो. It is easier if you learn it from the smaller things. Okay, so this is what it basically says. Yeah, continue,
To
Shailja.
learn from a mistake, we first have to own it, and this is where many people can become undone because they often blame someone else for their mistake.
Yeah, thank you. Just 1 second. And this is so, so important. I think I'm just going to take my puri frying example now because I've started on that. You say कि तेल बहुत ज़्यादा गरम था, या ये कढ़ाई बहुत छोटी है, या you blame something else. You are not blaming, or you are not realizing that you did not do something carefully, and you end up blaming others for your mistake. So most important here is to take ownership for your mistake and say it I made a mistake. That can be such a powerful sentence. In fact, like when Jack Canfield does his success principles, one of the first principles that Jack Canfield teaches is say, I am 100% responsible for my life. The minute you say, I am responsible, I have made that mistake, you are taking ownership for it, and you are not putting the blame to someone else outside. And the minute you take the example so the minute you take the blame, or the minute you take ownership or the responsibility for it, immediately you will know how to rectify that mistake, because now it is in your control. If otherwise you keep putting it outside, and like I said, वो कढ़ाई बहुत छोटी थी, या ये तेल बहुत different type का है, बहुत जल्दी गर्म हो गया, you can go on giving a zillion excuses for something that went wrong in your life and blame everybody else around it. But the minute you say, I made a mistake, मैंने ध्यान नहीं दिया कि तेल बहुत गर्म हो गया और मैंने हाथ बहुत जल्दी डाल दिया, या मैंने राई बहुत पास से डाल दी और फिर वो उछाल आ गया, तो इफ द मिनट आई टेक ओनरशिप फॉर माई मिस्टेक, आई नो आई हैव अ चॉइस to rectify it later. And this is very, very important. This blame game has to stop. Okay, yeah, let's consider the scenario. Yeah.
Let's consider the scenario of being pulled over by the police for speeding and being given a speeding ticket. Instead of taking responsibility for the fact that we were speeding, we blamed the police because they were hiding in the bushes on the highway around a bend. We couldn't see them. They had a radar gun, and so we didn't stand a chance. But the mistake was ours because we were the one who chose to speed.
Yeah.
The, the problem with blaming other people for our mistake is that we will still suffer the pain and consequences of our mistake, but we didn't learn from it. And so, bingo, we will attract making the same mistake again.
Okay, so I remember sharing it with one of the groups, but I don't know whether I shared it with both the groups. But this breaking of traffic signals. Okay, and I think this is the easiest example that you can take for yourself, and how the minute you have learned from it, you ensure you don't repeat it. And I'm going to talk only for myself. So when I was speeding once, and the amber changed to red, but I am not blaming the traffic signal over there. I speeded up because that's typically what we do. We just want to cross that signal at that time and say, "Acha, chalo, ye turn ho hi raha hai, so let me just quickly speed up and cross the signal." But I was caught by a cop, and I'm so glad that I was caught by the cop, because after that I have been very careful and I have respected the amber as an amber to slow down, and not the amber as turning into red, so speed up and get across. Okay, so I was caught. He caught me and put me across, and he said, "What did you do?" Of course, this is about 4 5 years ago, so little did I know that this is a blessing in disguise. So I argued back in my broken Tamil and tried all kinds of tricks with him, and saying, "No, I could not see, the car in front of me was just going, so I also just followed." All kinds of nonsense I told him, and tried to get my challan amount down as less as possible. And it came down to 500 bucks, and that person said, "Okay, go," and whatever, and it was done. But in retrospect, I know that after that, I realized, not from a blessing in disguise or any of that, none of that gyan came to me at that point of time. I'm being very honest, and I'm telling you that what pinched me at that time was, actually, when that signal is stopping and is coming to a red, there is a green on another side. And if I was speeding and going, and somebody who has got a green, he's anyway waiting for it to become a green, and he is also speeding, I could have got into an accident, and only person to blame at that time would have been myself. So I learned my lesson, and I would say I got off very, very cheap. वो 500 रुपए में सलटना was so much better, rather than getting into an accident or getting into a complication, hurting someone, hurting myself, my car getting damaged, so much more. So sometimes learn from these smaller mistakes, and take them so seriously that you don't get an opportunity to make it into a bigger one. And that is so, so, so important, that you pick this up about yourself. And that is what, there's no point in blaming and no point in saying कि पुलिस वालों का तो काम ही ये है, they तो just looking कि कहाँ से वो pocket how do they make some extra money by the side. This is all nonsense. We are just fooling ourselves by talking all these sentences. So something as basic as traffic rules, even if we can all become very mindful about them and not blame others and not blame the traffic cop or the person who's riding and whatever else, if you can be very clear that you have not made a mistake, then just control what is in your hands and stop this blame game. I will just say that, keeping in mind the example I wanted to share. Yeah.
You are
You are
human,
human. Hmm.
you will make mistakes, and it's one of the most beautiful things about human being. But you must learn from your mistakes, otherwise, your life will have a lot of unnecessary pain. How do you learn from a mistake? Gratitude. No matter how bad something may seem, there are always many things to be grateful for. When you look for as many things as you can to be grateful for in a mistake, you magically transform the mistake into blessings. Mistakes attract more mistakes, and blessings attract more blessings. Which would you prefer?
Yeah, I think the answer is quite clear that we would definitely prefer more and more blessings in our life. So, how do you learn from a mistake? Gratitude. So what I just said right now, I'm so, so, so glad that I was stopped that day by the cop and I had to pay a fine. The minute I have turned it into a blessing, the minute I have turned it and said, I'm so glad that I got away scot free, it did not lead to any kind of an injury for anyone else. The minute I convert it and I say, that's my blessing, that's my understanding that yes, this could have been so much more damaging. And the minute I say, I'm so glad, this has taught me a lesson and I am not going to make a mistake anymore around it. The minute we convert it into a blessing, we attract more blessings. So I think after that, I haven't been caught for anything else. So this, I would say, is an important lesson. Yeah. Today, think about a blessing mistake. Yeah.
Today, think about a mistake you have made in your life. It doesn't matter whether it was a big or small mistake, but choose one that still hurts when you think about it. Maybe you lost your temper with a person close to you and the relationship hasn't been the same since. Maybe you put blind faith in another person and got burned. Maybe you told a white lie to protect someone, and because of it, you ended up in a difficult situation. You might have chosen the cheaper option on something, and it all went wrong and ended up costing you a whole lot more. You might have thought you were making the right decision about something, but it completely backfired on you.
I'm sure in all the examples that she's given over here, you can resonate with at least one or two of them. Okay, maybe you lost your temper with a person close to you, and since then, the relationship has never been the same. Maybe you put blind faith in another person and then you got burned. Maybe you told a white lie to protect someone, but it ended up in you being in a more difficult situation. You might have chosen a cheaper option. Sometimes this happens. We're looking at something online and एक 500 रुपए के difference पे या 1000 रुपए के difference पे we end up going with the cheaper option, and then later on we regret it and we said that I now have to spend all over again to get that better product, a whole lot more. You might have thought you were making the right decision about something, but it completely backfired on you. So today you have to think of one such situation. Yeah. Continue.
1 minute.
Hmm.
Once you have chosen a mistake to magically transform into blessings, look for the things to be grateful for. To help you, there are two questions you can ask yourself. What did I learn from the mistake? What are the good things that came out of the mistake? The most important things to be grateful for about every mistake are the things you learned from it. And no matter what the mistake, there are always many good things that came out of it and altered your future for the better. Think this through very carefully and see if you can find a total of 10 blessings to be grateful for. Every blessing you find has magical power. Write out your list in a gratitude journal or type them on a computer.
Okay, so just 1 second. Let me just explain this part. Once you've chosen a mistake to magically transform into blessings, look for the things to be grateful for. To help you, there are two questions you can ask yourself. What did I learn from the mistake? What are the good things that came out of the mistake? Okay, so what did I learn from the mistake? If I were to take my own example, what did I learn from the mistake? The first thing I learned was that when it shows an amber, you need to slow down. And when it shows a red, because I definitely crossed when it had become red, that when it shows a red, respect it. But more than respecting the red, respect the amber. The amber says that, you know what, slow down and it is now going to change. So that is the first thing I learned from the mistake. What are the good things that came out of the mistake? The very reason that I haven't broken a single red light post that is the best thing that has come out from it. And I also learned so many more things that could have gone wrong if I had after having crossed or jumped that signal. I could have banged into a two wheeler, I could have hurt somebody, I could have dented my car, I could have done so many different things. They might have caught, because of that it could have led into maybe a police case, and then they would have confiscated my license, and it could have gone on and on and on. If I have to really build my line of thought over there, I could have even imagined myself in jail for jumping a signal. But that's not the point. The point is to understand that yes, this is something that I made a mistake, and by now taking ownership and saying, yes, I made a mistake with that, I have learned from that mistake, I will ensure I don't make it again. And I will also understand what are all the good things that have come out of it. The best thing that has come out of it is now I'm very careful when I'm at a signal and I'm at a red light, and I just stop over there. I don't even try, I don't honk, I don't speed up, I don't do any of those things. I just stay there. And I think one of the best things that has come out is you learn to leave maybe 5 to 10 minutes earlier, just so that you don't have to drive in a rush. So that itself is one of the good things that has come out of the mistake. So now imagine whatever that one mistake is and divide it into these two questions. What did I learn from the mistake? And second, what are the good things that came out of the mistake? Okay, so these are the two things that you will see, and we'll read the example and it'll become even more clearer. Yeah, let's take the example.
Let's take the example of being caught speeding by a police car and receiving a fine. Number one, I am grateful to the police for wanting to protect me from harming myself, because after all, that was all they were trying to do. Number two, I am grateful to the police because if I am honest with myself, I was thinking about other things and I wasn't concentrating on the road. Number three, I am grateful to the police because it was foolish to put myself at risk speeding with a tire that needed to be replaced. Number four, I am grateful to the police for the wake up call. Being pulled over did affect me, and it will make me watch my speed and drive more carefully in the future. Number five, I am grateful to the police because somehow I had a wild idea that I could speed without getting caught and without putting myself in danger. The seriousness of the police made me face up to the fact that I was putting both myself and others in serious danger. Number six, I am grateful to the police because if I think about my own family being put in danger by other speeding drivers, then I definitely want the police to stop speeding drivers. Number seven, I am really grateful to the police for the work they do in trying to ensure the safety of every person and family on the roads. Number 8, I am grateful to the police. They must see heartbreaking situations every day, and all they are trying to do is protect my life and my family's life. Number 9, I am grateful to the police for making sure that I arrived home safely and walked through the door to my family as I usually do. Number 10, I am grateful to the police because of all the possible consequences that could have stopped me from my speeding. The police pulling me over was the least harmful consequence, and it could have been the biggest blessing of my life. I would strongly urge you to
Yeah, so
take
just
any.
Selta, 1 second. I think these examples are very, very clear on how you are to write your sentence. I'm grateful. So you start your sentence by saying, I'm grateful to the police for making sure that I arrived home safely and walked through the door to my family as I usually do. So, out of every situation or any one mistake that you're choosing for yourself today, look at everything that you have learned from it, and the second thing is all the good things that have come out of that one mistake that you have made. So these 10 sentences can revolve around both the questions combined. It doesn't have to be 10 for the things I have learned and 10 things for that you're grateful for. You can combine the two questions and then you can write down 10 sentences to show how that mistake has turned into a blessing in disguise. Yeah. Okay, I would strongly urge you.
I would strongly urge you to take any mistakes you have made in your life that you still feel bad about, and in your own time, follow this magnificent and magical practice. Think about it. Through one mistake, you have the power to bring many blessings. What else guarantees dividends like that?
Yeah. So what else guarantees dividends like that? So you know what is it coming? The dividends that are coming is the blessings that are being pouring in, or the blessings that will come in because of that one mistake that you have identified. So you're going to find 10 things to be grateful for that one mistake. Okay. Magic practice number 26.
Magically transform mistakes into blessings. 1. Count your blessings. Make a list of 10 blessings. Write why you are grateful. Reread your list. And at the end of each blessing, say thank you, thank you, thank you, and feel as grateful for that blessing as you can. Number 2, choose one mistake you made in your life. Number 3, find a total of 10 blessings you are grateful for as a result of making that mistake and write them down. Number 4, to help you find blessings, you can ask yourself the questions: what did I learn from the mistake? And what are the good things that came out of the mistake? Number 5, just before you go to sleep tonight, hold your magic rock in one hand and say the magic words, thank you for the best thing that happened during the day.
Thank you, Shelja, for reading that for us. Yeah, so what
Welcome.
you are going to do today is you will count your blessings, make a list of 10 blessings, write why you're grateful, reread your list, and at the end of each blessing, say thank you, thank you, thank you, and feel as grateful for that blessing as you can. Choose one mistake you made in your life. Now, this can be a very recent mistake, something that you made yesterday, something that you made day before yesterday, something that you made 1 week ago. It could be anything. It could be something very recent, or it could be something that you are holding on yourself as a guilt about some mistake that you have made in the past. It completely depends upon you how you want to look at the mistake. Find a total of 10 blessings you're grateful for as a result of making that mistake and write them down. To help you find blessings, you can ask yourself the questions: what did I learn from the mistake? And what are the good things that came out of the mistake? So, these are two very important questions which I want you to hold in your space when you are writing these things down. Okay, so what came out of the mistake? How did I learn from this mistake? And what good has come out from this mistake now? Just before you go to sleep tonight, hold your magic rock in one hand and say the magic words, thank you for the best thing that happened during the day. So I just suddenly felt the need to share this with you. So maybe it is you had a very angry conversation with somebody and now the relationship has soured. So how can you even say that something good might have come out of this? So the good that probably comes out from this is one, maybe you were being taken for granted and maybe you voiced yourself and you asserted yourself in that particular situation. So the good that will come out of it is they will stop taking you for granted because you have made it very clear that you did not like the way you were being pushed around in a particular relationship. I'm just taking a very vague example because I think relationships are important, and a lot of us might end up doing one of the mistakes as a relationship mistake. So what good came out of it? That maybe if that person was very negative and if that person was not meant to teach you any more lessons in life, your ties with that person are over. So you are not in touch with that person. The person has come into your life, has taught you a lesson, and now has left. So that negativity is out. But what is the lesson that you have learned from it? Whatever mistakes that you also made in that relationship, you don't repeat them. So even if the mistake was that you were very trusting, or you were when we say trusting, I just mean that you are sometimes naive. You don't even realize that people are taking advantage of you and you are now being pushed around. So at that time, when you now become assertive and you become clear about what is okay with you, what is not okay with you, and tying it again back to this whole time management that we were talking about in the morning. And suddenly when people tell you ki acha, you are at home only na, ye please kar do, and after a point you say that you're being pushed around, and then that's also because you have not been very clear about your priorities. So when you have that argument with someone and you know that it has been a mistake, but it also comes as a blessing in disguise, because now after that argument people will take you more seriously. How nasty it becomes, how bad it becomes, do you really have to scream yourself out, or can you instead of reacting to it, can you calmly respond? Can you speak from your feelings? Can you speak from your emotions rather than saying, I'm very angry that you do this all the time? If you turn that word around and if you say, I feel really hurt that you do this and I do not feel good about it. The minute you say it, that I feel very hurt, I'm feeling very let down. When you take ownership for your feelings and you actually figure it out, because anger comes in a lot of guises. Anger is not always anger. Sometimes it's your fear, sometimes it's your sadness, sometimes it's your grief, and it comes out as anger. So if you can really pinpoint and say, actually truly I feel very sad that this is how things are turning out between you and me, the minute you say that, you are not in a conflicting mode, and that immediately changes the whole blessing, or the changes the entire mistake that has been happening in that relationship into a blessing, and things will only become better from there. So that's why, what did I learn from the mistake and what are the good things that came out of the mistake? And these are two very important things that you are to keep in mind. And then when you sleep tonight, hold your magic rock and say the best thing that happened during the day. Okay, so thank you, Shelja, one more time for reading this. Uh,
Welcome.
Pushpa Didi, are you on call? Pushpa Khator? I'm not sure because I think I saw a message somewhere in a
No, no,
group.
no, no. It was not my mistake, my message. I have not given any message.
No, no, no. But is it your birthday today?
Yes,
Happy
yes.
birthday. So
Thank
I have my
you.
WhatsApp opened on my screen, and suddenly it popped in our group. Sushma Didi just
Oh,
messaged,
yeah,
and she
Sushma
said,
Devi messaged. Yes, yes, yes,
so,
yes.
the
Thank
message
you,
just
thank
popped up, and
you.
I said, okay, I know Pushpaldi joins in. So happy birthday and have
Happy
a
Thank you,
birthday.
dear.
fantastic
Happy
day.
birthday.
Thank you, thank you,
Happy
thank
Happy
you,
birthday.
birthday.
Happy
Yeah.
birthday.
thank you,
Happy birthday.
thank
Birthday,
you, thank
birthday.
you.
Have a great
Have
day.
a
Yes.
have a most magical day.
Such a
Yes,
how
happy
lucky
birthday.
I
Happy
am
Have a
that I'm
magical
birthday.
day.
getting the birthday wishes from all of
Happy
you.
birthday.
Thank you.
Happy
What a
birthday.
wonderful
Thank
start to your
you.
birthday.
Thank
Wow.
you.
Yes.
Thank
And
you.
I'm so glad
Happy
that I
birthday.
have WhatsApp
Happy
open,
birthday.
and that message just popped on top, and I saw Sushma Didi wishing you in the group. I said, is it Pushpa Didi's birthday? Did I read that correct? And in that fraction, I said, okay, let me take a chance. I can only be wrong. That's fine. That's
Yeah,
Happy
thank
birthday,
you
Pushpa
so
ji.
much. What a lucky, what a blessings for me. Blessings for me.
I'm so glad. Thank you. So yes, now I'm just trying to see if there are any questions related to this, and otherwise, just 1 second. I'm going to mute everyone because I think there's a lot of disturbance coming in. Yeah. So okay, before all the happy birthdays to Pushpa Didi, I'm trying to see if there was something else. Sometimes start giving explanations. Yes, oil bahut garam tha, jaldi garam ho gaya. Yeah, for us, we've already done this earlier. Do we write our gratitude? Yes, Archana, please write your gratitude for something else because, we continue making mistakes. And in fact, while we were reading it, suddenly I said, Acha, I have two things to write from yesterday itself where I know I made mistakes and I can improve myself on that. So please write it. It can be something old, it can be something. Each and every word for you. Okay, thank you. So it can be anything which is in the recent past, like it could be something from yesterday or day before or 1 week ago or something, or it could also be from something way, way back in the past. So please do it. We're continuously improving and there's always scope for improvement. Although Amir Khan in, I forget it, I think Dil Chahta has said that it's difficult to improve perfection, but we've not reached there as yet. So we're definitely, there's a lot of scope for us to improve. And I was just thinking, I have two things to write right away, which happened yesterday. And I know I could have done it so much better. So it's about constantly learning from your own mistakes. Okay. Yeah. 1 second. I'm just saying, Devika wanted to share something. I'm just trying to see if I've missed
Yeah.
out on any.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi. Yeah, Devika, you can. 1 second, I want to
Yeah.
know. Rachna, yes, you have a question. Madhu wants to share something. I like to take questions first before we start the sharings.
Okay.
So then, yes, okay. So Babita wants you to start with Ruchi. So you can please start that way. She's messaged it in the Yes, yes, yes. Please start. Yeah.
So should I
Yes,
should
yes.
I
Rachna,
start?
go
Yeah.
ahead. Yes,
Ruchi,
yes.
Thank you.
I have been carrying this little, I don't know, I was hurt, I was taken aback, I'm feeling bad for this person who, when the class had started, and I told her, I said, as a class start ho raha hai, and do you want to be part of it? And I think you will get a lot of benefit because, she's lost her, dear one very recently. And she said, I will think about it. And I sent these messages to the people I thought would benefit and would value or have the time in the morning together. And then she sent me a message saying it clashes with my yoga timing. But thank you so much. You're a lovely, very, very nice person. Very nice. I mean, that's why you feel bad. So after 2 days, she calls me up and she says, you know what, Rachna, I heard so much about it and I wanted to, I have seen the video and I have followed a couple of things, but मुझे कुछ एक चीज समझ में नहीं आई है. So I said, oh, wow, I'm so glad. So I said, I'm sure who must have told you that class is going on very well. And I'm so glad that you're coming into that. She said, Nene, you don't feel bad. I said, no, I'm not feeling bad about it. I'm glad because I was the one who suggested. I'm glad. And then she asked me something and I was telling her and she kept on saying, I know. So I kept on telling her and she kept on saying, I know. So then I stopped and I said, if you knew, uh, why are you asking me this? And I said, you know what, when you, and as absolute etiquette. If somebody is saying it, you should not say I know. You should say yes. I don't know what your expression really meant, but you should say acha really or something like that. And then I heard that there was a little change in her tone. And then I said, I know that I have been a little brash with how you spoke, but I believe that at this moment, I'm too excited about the class, and I was so excited that you do it. And this most important is that you are going to do that and leave it. And then we said bye and okay. And then after 2 days, 3 days, I was sending her videos thinking, she's following. And then I came to know from another common friend that she was very hurt the way I handled her. And she didn't want to do anything with this class. And she said, मेरे को रचना की याद आ जाती है कि वो उसने मुझसे ऐसे बात की. So I felt so bad that my intentions of wanting her to join this class are totally lost. And I mean, the hope is lost that she doesn't want anything. She said, it just reminds me of how she spoke to me. So I just want to, I'm not saying who was right, who was wrong, but I just want to know how to write this. Because we are all in the path to pay gratitude, to learn, and this is not about whether I was right or wrong. But all the time that is coming so strongly into me कि मैं ऐसे path पे हूँ और I couldn't even convey to somebody who I know very well. I mean, I knew that she was low. I knew she needs my patience and my, holding her hand. I know that I have made a mistake, but what have I learned and what am I grateful for? I would want to know that.
Lovely sharing, Rachna. And it opens up a lot because I will generalize a little bit over here. Okay,
Yeah.
I will generalize so that others can also relate to it in some way. And like you pointed out very rightly, your intentions were so pure. Your intentions were so right, and very rightly so. What irritated you, even if I can call it an irritation for a fraction of a second, is when the person kept saying I know, I know, I know, and then at that time you want to turn around and say jab sab pata hi hai to aap kar kyun nahi rahe ho. That's what goes on in your mind,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And I completely understand your space. So to this, one, let me just explain it in a general way, and then we will see how we can convert it into a gratitude. Now, this is a general realization which I very strongly feel for. Okay, and this just takes us back कि सामने वाले की मुट्ठी बंद है कि सामने वाले की मुट्ठी खुली है. Right? You can only give to a person when that person is standing with their palms open and not when they are tight fisted. So, first and foremost, by listening to the person, you can understand that the person is tight fisted. The person has got their own ideas, they have got their own way of thinking, and it is your duty, or it is your what should I, yeah, it is your duty. I can't think of any other word for duty. It is your duty to give her ways to open out her fist. But sometimes our intention becomes such that we are forcefully opening that fist for someone else. And by forcefully, I don't mean that you are really pulling it out. You're not doing that. Okay. But the person feels that you are forcefully opening the fist. And that hurts the other person. So, what my philosophy is, and I follow it through and through, let people know about it. And beyond that, even though they are your closest family, right? It could be your mother, it could be your child, it could be your spouse, it could be your sibling, it could be the closest relationship to you. Okay? Be very mindful of the fact that when it is the right time for them, they will open out the fist themselves.
But Ruchi, I think she was ready.
Yeah.
But it was morphed.
Wasn't ready.
It was, yeah.
No, Ratna, she was not ready.
I think she got it. Yeah, that emotion got morphed with guilt that, मैंने बोला था, and then
No, I will not take that, because if the person was ready, then no matter what you said, they should have only been very excited to do it. The person was not ready, right? So, and also, if the person is thinking that I don't want to do it because an ex person has asked me to do it, then you are not ready to receive it. Doesn't matter who that ex person is. You are only giving an excuse for not doing it. You get what I'm saying?
I feel so guilty. I'll tell you, मैं
I understand.
समय जब अच्छे moments होते हैं, I feel that how much joy it would have given her.
Yes.
How much, because she really, all of us need it. All of us need it. I mean, we're not saying we are in a situation where there is 100% everything flowing towards us, but with gratitude, and I feel, you know, every moment, I can't even begin to tell you. And she's not here. It's not as if I'm paying an ode to a relationship. I'm just feeling so defeated that she's not with us, sharing these moments where we could have empowered each other. You know, so this is what it is. So that's why I wanted to ask. And at such an apt time.
Everyone's writing it in the chat box, and this is not just for Rachna's example. This is an example that you can all take in your lives, that sometimes even with your children, your intentions are so right, you know, and you want them to do this. जब वो छोटे बच्चे थे, at that time तो उनको डांट मार के जैसे भी करके आपने करा दिया, but beyond a time you cannot do it. So please understand that even your children, even your parents are all on their own journey, and they will all figure it out for themselves when the time is right. So it was not her time. So you have to first take the guilt off. Okay, now how am I going to convert this mistake into a blessing? So how am I going to write this? So I'm going to write, I'm so grateful that I reached out to this friend and I shared with her my experiences, right? Because you are grateful. I'm so grateful that my intentions to explain to her were very, very true and honest, because that is also very true. You're not being dishonest with yourself. You are not trying to promote somebody else's work which you don't believe in. So you were very honest with whatever you were telling the other person. So your intentions were very pure. Now, what have you learned from this? I'm so grateful that when people are ready, they will take up the path on their own. The only thing probably you could have probably said is that I'm so grateful that I have now learned that I need to be a little more patient with people when they are saying something, because actually that is what is hurting you. That is what is hurting you. That had I not said it, maybe she would have come. Yeah. So maybe the only thing you can take back from here, and again, don't beat yourself blue on this, because when people say this, I know, ये तो पता ही है, ये तो ऐसे ही होता है, you feel so, you feel so demeaned, because you are sharing with them something
so much excitement,
excited, exactly, and then सामने वाला जब पलट के बोलता है कि इसमें क्या है, what is the big thing? I'll tell you what happened yesterday, although it's going on live on YouTube, but I'll just take a chance and I will say it, and maybe I'll tell my niece to edit it and put it later back again. But yesterday, when in the morning, when I go and do my cooking and I'm in my mantra till 9 o'clock, I listen to Gita Made Easy. And it's a lovely discourse by these people from ISKCON. And I have done the 18-day course, and I'm like listening to it all over again. I love listening to that. So I was listening to it, and I was in the kitchen, and my husband walks in, and he does not believe in any of these things, none of these things, no gratitude, no blessings, kuch nahi. वो बंदा अपनी लाइफ में बहुत, and I don't talk, I don't discuss it, I don't even tell him anything, I don't expect anything back from him, and see, Rachna, I'm telling you so honestly right now that this is my husband.
You are just saying
Thanks
what
for saying that.
happened in my house.
Vocalizing that
Exactly.
for us.
Exactly. It's a lot of the story in a lot of houses. I can see it. So a lot of people saying same here, same here. So वो बंदा बहुत अपनी लाइफ में सेट है, उसको कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, उसको कोई ब्लेसिंग नहीं चाहिए, उसको कुछ नहीं चाहिए, वो बहुत हैप्पी है. So whatever. So he walks in and he makes his morning tea at that time, and she's saying something about I don't even remember what context he was saying. So he just made a mockery about what she said. Okay, and Geeta made easy, and he just said something. Ha, what? So for that you have to say all this on YouTube or what? Something like that he said. I felt very offended. Okay, I just went and I paused the video because एक तो मैं मौन व्रत में हूँ, so very happily I can't say anything back to him, so I have to be quiet at that moment. So what's the best thing I can do? I can stop that discourse because I don't want the disrespect, something that I am holding as something so important for me. And even when somebody else makes a mockery on that, I don't like it. Now, I can either get into an argument with him and say, you're like this, and that is why you continue like this and that, and whatever, I can get into some story, or I can choose to pause the video. And I did just that. I paused the video. He made his chai. He understood that I was not very happy with that, what he said, and he went out. And then, in his own way, after 9 o'clock, he's trying to make small talk with me. And you know it that when you're trying to make small talk, you're actually trying to make up for that. And,
Yeah.
And that's absolutely fine. But what I'm trying to say over here is that it is even in our best of intentions, sometimes we lose out on our patience. And that's absolutely fine. And that's why I said, don't beat yourself blue over it, because you were only telling her in a lot of excitement. And people don't understand that. And people come from a space which says, I already know all this. ये सुबह सुबह ये ज्ञान व्यान मेरे से नहीं होएगा, इतना ज़्यादा मुझे चाहिए नहीं, I'm absolutely fine. I'm telling you that. It's very difficult for people to open out their fists. It's very difficult. So there are some people who will remain tight-fisted all their lives. And that's the way they are. That's okay. They'll figure out their way. अपने आप उनकी जब भी खुलना होएगा, वो अपने आप खुलेगा. So don't.
She is actually a very beautiful soul, very nice soul, but sometimes it gets just morphed by too much happening or something like that. So, and I mean, I will not even say कि खुला हुआ था, मैंने शायद बंद कर दिया, मुझे हरदम ऐसा लगा. But like when you say कि she was very excited when she came to me, and I felt so, I can't even begin to tell you, I've never felt bad for anybody or any situation as much as her, because the joy that I am getting from here. And I so wanted her, and I so wanted, really, like Suraya said that we were, Tech C7. So I say that. And she's one of them, and we've had a journey, a beautiful journey. Not that we have stopped talking, let me tell you. It is nothing. It is nothing. Her messages, when it was, her D-Day, and I sent her some, message. Her message was very formal. And otherwise she would say such, there'll be so many beautiful words followed by what she felt. So मुझे बस वही लग रहा है और कुछ नहीं लग रहा कि मैं इस चीज से, because it's, and I want to release myself, and this has come at the right time for me to this. So
maybe what you can do is, because this is the person known to you and you really want to sort it out, maybe you can just send her a message or give her a call, and you can say, I'm really sorry if I hurt you that day, but my intentions were not like this, and I was probably just saying it in a lot of my excitement, and leave it at that. Leave it at that. Don't justify or explain yourself beyond a point, because your intentions were right. Maybe what hurt her was the tone in which the conversation carried forward.
Exactly.
So don't be guilty for the message, be guilty for the manner in which it was conveyed. So there's a big difference between the two. Okay, and just tell her, I'm sorry, this is not what my intention was. And I know you, Rachna, you'll not take a minute to say that. You will be absolutely open to saying that. Yeah, so just say that, I'm really sorry, but in my excitement, it seems like I hurt you, and that was not my intention at all. And leave it at that. Don't apologize for the content. I'm again coming back to that. Content is important, not the tone. So apologize for the tone and not for the content. Sometimes we end up doing the wrong thing and we end up saying sorry for what I said. Actually, what you said was true. So what you have said is not wrong. The way I have said it is probably what hurt. So
Oh,
apologize for
wow.
the tone
Thank you
and not
so
the
much.
yes. Yes, it's
Thank you.
important. Yeah,
Oh,
we understand that. And only apologize for your tone. Don't apologize.
thank you so much. That was the, कहते हैं ना, killer
Yeah,
sentence.
yeah,
That's, do not apologize for what you said, but
yeah.
the intentions, but for the tone.
The
Thank you
tone,
so
because
much.
it's the tone that hurts people. It's rarely the content, because you know what, honestly unko bhi pata hai jo aap bol rahe ho wo sach hai, and people don't want to hear the truth. That's our sad story.
Thank you.
So don't apologize for the content. The content was absolutely right, but yes, maybe the tone became wrong. That's about it. And that too, I'm saying maybe. I don't even know whether it was
No,
really
it was, because I don't think she would have been so hurt. And
yeah,
she's not somebody who will complain about me to somebody else, or,
yeah,
she will contain herself. But if she has said and gone to an extent saying कि मैं देखती हूँ तो मुझे वो episode याद आता है, तो that is very torturous for her also. I mean,
yeah,
it
yeah.
is, it's not a very nice feeling that, something
Absolutely.
so beautiful is coming your way and you say, नहीं, मुझे नहीं चाहिए, because मुझे वो याद आ रहा है कि जिससे रचना ने मुझे कैसे बोला था. So it is something, and if I was going through it, I would have felt miserable. And but every personality is different.
Absolutely,
And yeah,
absolutely, and that's why I said, and that's what everybody's even written on the chat box also here. Uh, okay, I'm just reading so many funny messages for my husband here on side. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. Yeah, so it is the tone. It is just apologize for the manner in which it was said, and definitely not for the content. The content was absolutely right. Yeah.
thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you
Rachna, for
all for
bringing
all
that
this.
up, because it is an important, and that's why I said I'm going to generalize this, because many a times we start feeling very bad about what we have told somebody, whereas our intentions were right. We never meant harm for them, and we rarely mean harm for people. Let's be very honest. बहुत कम ही ऐसे अपन लोग होंगे इस दुनिया में, and I would say बहुत handful ही हैं who are actually, then those are really psychotic cases who actually mean ill for people. Otherwise, intentions are always right. And if we can even look at the intentions of people rather than looking at their language and their tonality, we will see beyond the person. And then we realize we become so much more tolerant when we see the intention of the person more than anything else. And it goes for us as well. It's not just for them, it's also for us. When people say something to us and then we feel hurt,
Exactly. Yeah.
if we can look at the message that was being conveyed and not the manner in which it was being conveyed, I think we will also pick up so much more from that. So it's all about the way it is said. Right. So I'm
Thank
really
you so much.
sorry. Yeah, if I've missed out on messages, so sort it out. Okay. Yes, Jyoti, please share. Please share. Yes.
It's really nice to have a thoughtfully humorous morning. I think humor, and you learn so much through it.
Yes. Yes.
This is quickly based on two things from yesterday. I'm going to keep it really short.
Yeah.
What you said was like, when we are doing, so I always believe in something when two or there, it's of course biblical, but I'm not a religious person. I'm making that clear. When there are two or three people, when you assemble together, we always think there's a presence of the divine.
Just keep yourselves on mute. 1 second. I'm just muting everyone, Jyoti. So just unmute yourself once. Yeah. 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 Go
There
ahead.
is a verse which says, when there are two or three people, when you gather together as a group, the divine is present. So they say it as, God is there, whatever, but I always think divine. And in these kind of groups, the reason many people will say I'm an academaniac, and you're constantly learning. And I've had some rude comments, when will you stop and things like that. But the reason, yes, I've done all these courses several years ago, but I always think various areas where you sit and watch a movie does give a different perception. And there's a lot of learning from everybody. Today, one thing which struck me, of course, I should say what happened yesterday was when Madhu was sharing, whatever she said, there is this little hymn which kept ringing in my head, like, count your blessings, name them one by one. And I was thinking, should I even tell her? So I sent that little message, don't hide it under a bushel. So it was just a text
Yes.
message, and we shared and we connected in a very interesting way. We didn't have to speak much. That being said, this morning when you mentioned about, when you feel that you're being used, or when you have to withdraw, or you have to tell somebody, if there is one person I would think, everybody says you speak so clearly. So is there one person in the world that who can, shut you up? And I just smile and I say, there is one, and that's my daughter. Because I would write, edit, I can have, like, there's always a bang on, and I think, and I, shamelessly, I'll tell, I am a little nervous when I speak to her, because one, her language is, it shudders me when I say, I can give her a paragraph and she can respond in 2 words. She can ask me a word and I can have a zillion words to respond, but I won't respond because she'll say, think. So this thing which you mentioned about, when you have to withdraw, feeling used and all that, it's a learning for me, and it's a good time. I decided over this few months, I'm going to hold back, because I jumped to do things, right? So I had to ask myself, is it an inner need or is it an external experience? So am I going to claim myself to be the one who is always the victim? So there's a lot of introspection that's been happening. So I decided to say, I'll wait. So my daughter, when I was discussing with her, she asked me, when you choose to bend low enough in surrender to anybody when they ask of something, it's fine. But just make sure you're not bending, showing your awesome ass, and to get kicked. Bend in a way that they look at you. She said, Ma, you do it all the time. So it's so wonderful. Either they would use your ass to sit on, or they're going to choose to kick.
Yes.
So it was like, oh my goodness, she said it again. And I was in tears, and I said, what the hell? And instead of understanding, I had tears, and she said, oh, come on, stop that crap. Wake up, She said, don't get victimized. And she said, you better learn. How do you know when your end comes, or when my end comes? Right. Now I'm saying, but it took me like so much. My hands literally is shaking. It was a very deep story that happened over these, it's not like one day. So what I decided was, I'm not going to jump. So while doing that, I realized we need to have the strength, Ruchi, because I'm saying this, your example was so strong. Sometimes when you're always there, you feel that, oh, wow, I've done it. But I have never felt proud that I've done it. In all humility, I think few people here can say, I've never looked for something, because it's therapy time for me too.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing is, when there's a circle of people who can turn around and who can choose that silence as, what the hell? You haven't done what you were supposed to do. So I chose to stay calm and not do it. I tell you, I did it for a week. But beating yourself to blue, what you told Rachna, I'll tell you, I was killing myself to say, it's not me. When somebody wants, I do it. Why the hell am I doing? And I was killing myself to death, sobbing through. See, my thing is, when I wake up in the morning, I always say I have a choice, and my choice is to be happy come what may. I will smile no matter what happens, because yes, that's a part of it that's happening in my life. But my choice is to stay happy, and I'm not going to make somebody else my garbage bin where I'm going to be spitting out my sorrows. I pick and choose, but I decided to stay calmer. My exuberance doesn't stop. But when you mentioned that, I had to take a call on myself, retrospect, to see now that person as the one who thinks like, oh, she's there, she's bang on, oh, wow, Jyoti, today tells me, oh, you were supposed to do it. So I was just thinking, no, I would have said that, but I just stopped and I told to myself, I was not supposed to do it. I did it out of choice. The next thing was, you always do it. Why the hell haven't you done it? And I said, God, I'm so grateful. Today, the value is a lot more. All that said and done, but Ruchi, I sat back and I said, done. What am I doing? That's not me. But there are times like you have to whip yourself to say, wake up, honey, and smell the coffee. But it can come, and the closest, these 3 days, I'm looking at a weekly refueling.
Yeah.
I put down points, and I have a habit when certain learnings come from the session, I have my inbox. I write it down in that, and I keep getting that mail. It'll come to me, and I open, and I'll repost it till I have literally understood what the meaning of everybody's givings is, because we look at it.
Fabulous.
But today, what was very strong was, which I was terribly upset about, and I thought, am I going down in the wrong way? Am I taking my soul character in me
Yes.
by
Yes.
not doing what? It's been very, very heavy for me.
Mm.
And this particular thing, when we talk as a group, it sends a wave of strength in you, where it tells you're not making a mistake. Right? Because it was extremely difficult for me. And this I'm not talking about one. It was like a jolt to several, that this ping the bell, the minute ask and you shall receive. I physically did it, emotionally did it, and I had to slap myself and say, you don't have to be there. Now, that being said, it may not fit for everybody, but sometimes in humility, I also have to say, in the presence of all the 100 odd people or the 66 people that we have here, there are moments that, the humility that we have to say, it doesn't matter if they think that Jyoti is there to do it. There are times to say, for my own understanding, I had to do it. And I'm really learning. It's like a huge lesson. There are moments of absolute blast and there are moments of tears. But mine is a major learning. And I learn. For me, I like to be a learner for the rest of my life. I think that's my life's calling. And today I had to say that. And I guess that's
Thank
what
you.
I really wanted to share.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much, Jyoti,
Thank
because
you.
I think it answers a lot of questions. I'm just trying to read on the side, and I think it answers a lot of questions over there. I will take up what Rachna and Shruti have written, and I will explain that. But just just reiterating what Jyoti said, and from her daughter's perspective, bend only till a point that it is helpful, and not because you're exposing your ass to be kicked. And that is so so important. How much are you going to bend, and to what extent? And after you bend, and after you have bent for a long period of time, not a short thing, as women we are very very high on our perseverance, on our tolerance, and we really give a lot of leeway to a lot of people. But beyond a point, when we can't take it, it is time to stand up for yourself. And yes, it will be uncomfortable, like Jyoti said, not just to the people around you, it will be uncomfortable for you as well, because this is not you. You are discovering a new you yourself. So it might be uncomfortable to you as well, but be in that discomfort, because this is short lived. What is going to be longer, and what will really give you happiness in a longer term, is when you are able to sustain this over a period of time, and people begin to respect you. And it completely comes from, you get as much respect as you give yourself. You don't give respect to yourself, people around you will not respect you. You don't respect your own time, people around you will not respect your time. It is as much as you look at yourself, which is very very important, and that really speaks volumes. So thank you so much for that. Rachna Shroff is writing, and I'm just going to clarify because otherwise it might get confusing. She says that even after saying I'm hurt, I'm sad, people turn around and they think that, for some of them, they feel thrilled to see you hurt, and they feel the excitement. Trust me, they're feeling bad. They may just show it off that they're very happy about it, but no, deep down, and I know you, Rachna, so I know I can take this offline with you, and we can take this. But I can just say this, that when you say it genuinely from your heart, and you say, I'm feeling so sad, I'm feeling so hurt, people do take it seriously. They may mock at you initially, but eventually they will understand it. Okay. Shruti, sometimes even if you make the other person aware, they will continue to commit the same mistakes. I can only say it is their problem. It is their life. It is their journey. They have to first face the consequences themselves before they learn from their mistakes. It's not your mistake. Okay, we are only going to concentrate on what's in our control, our mistakes, and not on other people's mistakes. Yes, if they're hurting you and that is what is, you think is their mistake, then look at and turn it around and see whether am I going to do something differently so that I don't get hurt. So what part of it can I take ownership of is very, very important, rather than saying that person is doing something, that person is doing something. No, I am doing something also which is making the other person do it. So I take responsibility for what is in my control, right? So I hope that answers your question. Yeah. Mm, yes, big strong hug to you, Jyoti, from all our side. And I'm just reading it here. Yes, 1 second. Yeah, if time permits, because I doubt if time will permit today. 1 second. Mistakes, how to choose one. Yeah, Mamta, just start with one at a time. Okay, just start with one mistake at a time, and probably for the next 6 7 days, you can keep trying one more. Okay, but today, just do one, don't do more than one. Okay, 17-year-old daughter, she comes up with these one liners which stuns me. Yeah, exactly, they can come up with these amazing ones and they can really stun us. Okay, so we'll just take one sharing today because it's 7:28. And 1 second, she sent me a private message, so I know she really wants to share something. Priya Satsangi. Priya, would you like to share? No, not you, Priya. Priya, would you like to share? And everybody else, we'll take your sharings tomorrow, please. Yeah. Priya?
Yes, ma'am. Priya here.
Yes, Priya, please.
Ma'am, I would like to talk to you. Like, I have a long list to talk because right now I'm getting very emotional.
Okay.
So, if I could get some time to speak to you in the later day.
Okay. So, Priya, can you just send me a message and we'll figure it out? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So then we have a couple more minutes. So
I think you missed my name. I had a question.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Please do. Please do. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, Ruchi. So I wanted to ask you now if there is a pattern in your life, okay, and you're repeating the same kind of mistake. It's not even a mistake. It's something like if you land up trusting the wrong person, okay. So then, how do you go about it? Then.
So that's exactly why you do this exercise, because then you say, what is the lesson I have learned from this? Okay, so next time, and I look at it more from a business deal perspective, like you're getting into partnerships with people, but every single time your partnership seems to be backfiring. कुछ ना कुछ हो जाता है, and you find that either वो पैसे लेके चला गया या वो पैसे किसी और को दे दिए या कुछ ना कुछ आपकी business deal में गड़बड़ होती जा रही है. तो just reflect on it and just think at that moment, what did I learn? For me, the biggest learning is putting everything down on paper and saying, let's document this, let's fine tune every small thing that is there on it, and then let's work around it. But in relationships, I understand we can't really do this documentation and all. But if something has happened in a previous relationship where you have been hurt, so look at it and say, so what did I learn from this? What did I learn in terms of, was I giving too much? And then was I expecting back in return? Because our biggest problem happens that मैं तो इतना कर रही हूँ, वो सामने वाला बंदा क्या कर रहा है? But आप उसको पूछ के थोड़ी कर रहे हो. सामने वाले ने बोला नहीं है आप इतना करो, आप अपने मन से कर रहे हो. तो अगर आप अपने मन से कर रहे हो, then that expectation should not come in. And if expectations are coming in, then it is very transactional, which means I will do this and you will do this. In that case, clarify. Are you getting my point? In that case, you can make it very clear. But if that is not the case and you are just doing it straight from your heart, then your expectation has to be zero on it.
It's more like the question of trust over here, It's like the trust is broken. It's not related more to the expectation part. Yes, of course, that is very, I can relate it over here also. But, it's the actual trust when you are... it's not that something wrong has happened to me because of that, but physical trust has been broken कि मैंने अगर कुछ आपको कहा and it was meant to be just to you and you have spread it out to the whole world and you've seen that pattern happening in your life. It's not related to that person, you know, but it's happening throughout.
So
So,
I would, from whatever I'm understanding, until I really don't understand the whole situation, I
right,
can't
right.
really pinpoint and give you an answer. But from what I'm understanding, then you have to be cautious about whom you trust.
Okay.
And you have to say, I'm not very comfortable sharing this information with you because in the past, when I have shared it, it has gone to people that I didn't want it to go. So much that I would like to tell you something, I can't. In fact, you don't even have to tell them so much because then it'll make them very curious. So don't tell them even this much. You can just keep it to yourself. And you've learned from your mistake. So why would you do it again? वो जो बोलते हैं ना दूध का जला छाछ भी फूक मार मार के पीता है, it's like that. Now even for the smallest of things you can become so much more careful about that.
But then, like, if you aren't you losing on the main essence of trusting human beings? You know, I mean, you know, suppose if I write that and I try to see the good that I have learned, is it that gratitude will change that people whom I'm attracting are going to become more trustworthy, or is it that I mean, you know, that my trusting ability will shrink, you know, and I will start becoming more suspicious. I mean, I don't want it that way, you know.
No, so this is not happening with every relationship. This is happening only with one relationship. So don't generalize your trust factor. And that is a very important and pertinent point because you have been flawed by one person. Don't generalize and say, Puri dunya hi aisi hai. Right? So don't do that because that's not the intention. This is to look at this one episode and one mistake, right, and say कि ये इस person के साथ ऐसा हुआ था. And I'm going to go back to my cooking example. मुझे बड़ा मजा आ रहा है वो cooking example लेकर कि if you have taken a छोटा सा बर्तन and उसमें आपने बहुत सारा तेल डाल के फिर उसमें राई का बघार दिया तो वो definitely उछलेगा. But अगर आपने बर्तन बड़ा लिया है और तेल कम डाला है और फिर उसमें राई डाला है तो वो नहीं उछलेगा. So it's not a question of generalizing it, but it's a question of understanding with whom it has been done. वो बर्तन छोटा था या बर्तन बड़ा था, तेल आपको उतना ही था और राई आपका उतना ही था, but उस बर्तन ने made a big difference. Right. So understand the difference over there. Yeah, you're getting my point?
Yes,
so
yes.
That's one thing. The other thing is if you can have an honest discussion with this person and say, you know, I'm really hurt that last time my trust was broken this way, and this is what has happened, and I really want to trust you again. Right? See what the other person has to say. If the person comes up, the person might not say, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done it. Not necessary. Huh? They may not be so giving and forgiving. They may just turn around and say, हाँ तो बोल दिया तो क्या हो गया, इसमें बड़ी बात क्या हो गई, इसमें बुरा लगने का क्या है. But at least you have conveyed from your side what you felt bad about. Right. And then when you don't tell more things, you have already told him this is the reason why I don't want to say it, because I've been hurt in the past and you have not really done something about it. So now I want to be a little cautious. The caution is from my side, not from your side.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just one more thing, like suppose after I finish my 10 blessings that I see in that relation or in that incident, can I visualize a better, I mean, in the same flow, can I visualize a better relation?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That I'm so grateful that beyond this, things have become so much better. Sometimes it happens, you know, jhagde ke baad mein, the relationship actually improves. Each one does not start taking the other for granted. So I think it really works that way. You know? So
thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ruchi, if I may just add to what Suman just said, very interestingly, she said, you know, is it a habit? Are we attracting? Yeah, I want to just add, you know, I've done this same thing few years ago, but I noticed at every point in our life, there are things that we deal with. Suman, as you mentioned, when I did it a few years ago, at that point, that age, my requirements or my expectations were different, so the hurt was different. When I'm doing it now with you all, at when you're at this point in time, and over these 2 years, it is not really we are attracting. Maybe we're negating, pushing things off. I mean, this is my personal, sorry, humble thing which I've noticed. That's why I like the passage of learning, because at every time it sort of grounds us. And there is something like, I would put anchoring or NLP language in a different way. It gives you a little kind of a jatka, where you wake up and you're very, very quick to sense it before it comes. Before a zillion mile, we are like a dog, we can smell it. But the flying away or the fleeting or fear, whatever, I feel that that's been a blessing when you keep doing these practices repeatedly. We shed 20 and pick up 10, or maybe we shed. So that was a little thing, I thought, being in this process through this now versus what I did about 3 years ago out of this country, whatever, it was different in that environment to this environment. So it's always befitting and not really, am I carrying it? Can be a load, but how much of the load have we shed is a big question, because it's not the other, it's from within us, right? So, I mean, that was something which came to me as a personal call. What did I do over these 5 years? And I'm very quick on the SMART principle and the principles of Jack Canfield. I mean, only studying and connecting it to my life. So I think it's a good thing. So crying is, somebody said they're emotional, and I think that's the best healer, because you've shed and cleared a lot of things. It's like a vacuum sucking up, and then you just leave back what is needed to be healed. So thank you again. Sorry I interrupted at this point.
Not at all.
Just thought it was important to add.
And it is so good because, like they say, you can never step into the same river twice.
Yeah.
And it's very deep when you think of it. The water changes, the gravel can be the same, it can be anything. But your experience will be very, very different. So you never step into the same river twice. So you will get it in a different way. I'm reading it for the 5th time now, and every single time, every chapter has been different. There's some learning that I'm still getting out of it over and over and over again. So it just comes. Like she said, whatever's the right time for that moment at that time, just go with that. Just go with that. Yeah? Yes. Is it okay to maintain silence and not say anything at all? Shruti, I feel silence has worked a lot for me, right? And using the silence in the right way, because use that silence to introspect, but not to keep mulling over it and beating yourself or blaming circumstances around you. After a point when you have got the silence and you've got the answers in your silence, basically silence is for you to get the answers. And once you've got answers to your silence, then to be, oh my God, this is so fun. My WhatsApp is open and my sister sent me a message, Madam ji, bas karo, Maun Vrat ka time ho gaya. I'm so sorry. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to quickly finish this. So once you get the answers in your, I can't get over it now. Once you get your answers in the silence, then how do I frame myself in order to express what I'm feeling? Do you get my point? So the silence is actually just, it's a very powerful tool for you to be able to use it as a time to prepare yourself. And then when you have to, when I say prepare yourself, it's almost sounding like you're getting into battle, but it's not battle, but it is prepare yourself in order to put your feelings in the right way, to express yourself in the right way. And that's important. And that's what silence should do. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Ruchi.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I'm getting reminders, and my sister's as funny as ever. So she's written Devi ji bas karo time ho gaaya Maun Vrat ka. So thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you,
Thank you,
We're
Ruchi.
looking at one mistake of ours that we're going to be working on, and what did I learn from it. And I'm so glad that this happened. You need to think about it from that perspective. Okay.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ruchi.
Thank you so much,
Today's
Miss
session
Ruchi.
has
Thank you,
been
Ruchi.
really
Thank you.
Thank
interesting.
you,
Lovely
Mr.
session.
Thank you,
Ruchi.
everybody.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ruchi.
Thank you so much, Ruchi.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you,
very much, Ruchi.
everyone. Have a
Thank you.
great day.
Great day. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
everyone. Thank you.